What are your thoughts on maybe some of the preparation at the earliest stages, since you mentioned the beginning of relationships that is lacking in the clients that you deal with? Or maybe that's just missing out on in their relationships at the early stages of it.
Yeah, yeah. There's a disconnect, right, between the reasons we get into marriage and the function of marriage. And a marriage was really a way to kind of define responsibilities between groups of people. We saw it in the Game of Thrones and stuff like that. People back in cave days, cavemen and cave women got together because they needed to survive. They needed each other. The a man would need a mate, and they need to produce a new person in the form of a child, so that if it's a boy, then he goes and helps the dad fight and get the mammoth or the saber-toothed tiger. And the mother will help with the children, the girls, and they cook, paint the cave, or whatever it is that the role would be, but it would be to make sure that there is a place of safety for the hunt to come back, or the party to come back. And that was just pure survivalism. And that kept the marriage. I'm not saying that the marriage at that time was great, because, the life expectancy might have been 22 years of age anyways. And so it wasn't nice, but it kept the people together because it served a function, even though the ceremony wasn't there. It wasn't the marriage the way that we think of marriage right now. Marriage, the way that we view it right now, only happened in the last, less than 100 years, when love became the thing. It's a marketing tool. We have a whole industry around that concept, from Hollywood to, consumer products, to bridal everything. Yeah, even today, we still have these reality shows. So you have a lot of invested parties into the who are in the field or the industry of people getting married. Are they incentivized to help people not get into the union, or to actually facilitate it? If you, educate people in a way that you tell them you really don't have to sign the papers, and you really don't need to spend all of that money to gain what you want out of a marriage, which is love, belonging, support, all of those things that are soft. They're not, they're all emotional. You don't really want anything from the survival times of actually surviving. So, why would you get married? Yes, you have the tradition, you have the consumer side, the marketing, the one that makes you believe that you need to do that. But you are not gaining any of that through the marriage, because people who are together, there's 10% of people in the US between 25 and 55 who are cohabitating. So they're living together, but they're not married. And to me, it seems like those have the best kind of relationship, because they're not forced within this financial obligation. And if you kind of relieve them from that burden, it's easier for them to manage their emotions and the actual bond between them. So, can the younger people understand that? Yes, they understand it in general, but can you convince them of what is better for them? You can't, because you don't know what's better for any two people. But if they get into it knowing that they are an analog unit of emotions and dreams, and they're trying to fit into a financial contract, then you know that there is a discrepancy there, and maybe they can manage it somehow. We already have prenuptials and all of that stuff in an attempt to, but those are not enough. We are now in an era that is beyond the industrial era of contracts and finance. We are beyond the era of communication. We are in an AI now world, and that requires a new set of understanding and framing.
How much of an impact do you think then the financial aspect of a marriage has on the two people involved in it?
Yeah. Well, if it's defined, if marriage itself is defined through a financial lens with the outside world, with the government, with the businesses, with even within the culture, then it is diminished. It suffocates the two people because even if they don't define it that way, they are being defined that way. So they can't really escape the trap. They already walked into it. So it becomes a major issue, not because it's even if they are comfortable in life financially, it just makes it hard to break those shackles that they can define their relationship without being pulled down to a financial framework. It becomes very important for them to always prioritize the logistics of their daily living through the bills and what responsibility they have, what needs to be maintained from cars, from, the bills of electricity, cell phones, all of those things. And it becomes suspect when the other person seems to be having a good time because we have a responsibility and it's a daily responsibility towards the society as a financial unit. What are we doing? Are we running the tap? We're actually accumulating too much financial burden, or should we be working even further so that we can meet these obligations that we got ourselves into? And sometimes we get ourselves into those obligations because we got married. So, the ring, the gowns, the party, all of those things, the idea of a honeymoon, all of those things, say our weekly or monthly or annual getaways from holidays, vacations, day trips. We think that we deserve it, but at the end of the day, we're always borrowing from our future. And before we know it, the dream that we have as a couple is already being crowded out because we have so many obligations.